Hi, and welcome to the Leader's Edge. How to sharpen your competitive advantage and make a positive impact as a leader in your organization and community. I'm Emily Chiwa, and with me, of course, is Georgia Donaldson.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Georgia.
How
And
you
we are
doing?
both, I am good. I'm good today. How are you?
Hey, hanging in there, hanging in there.
Right. So, we, as you know by now, are leadership coaches and hosts of this show. And today we're talking about leading with presence.
hmm
So, this is an interesting topic because presence, I feel, if you think about it in our world that we live in today, it's really hard to be present, right?
Oh my, so many distractions, Emily. So many distractions. Yeah.
So many distractions, so many different things to do. So much is on our mind, so much is on our plate, and we're always on. We are always on, right? So
Always on.
the
Always on.
the 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 email, the social, whatever is right there in our hand, the WhatsApp, whatever.
Yes.
So
Yes.
being present in this moment is a challenge for most of us.
It is. It is. And how do we tune out those distractions? And especially when we're at a certain level, at that leadership level, how do we pay attention to people and not make them feel as if we are not there with them? So those are some of the things we want to talk about, Emily. And
Exactly.
as we coach leaders, and we have seen leaders who have come to us to say, I want to be more effective with my team. And sometimes my teams feel that I am not with them. But I'm busy, I am there all the time. So we will talk about being there and being there.
Absolutely. Yes. Being there and being
hmm
there. I love how
Yes,
you said that.
yes,
I think it's important too that as we go through this topic is to I hope people will get the benefits of
hmm
of um of being there, truly there in the moment. And then, we hear the terms executive presence, leadership presence bandied about a lot, right? Somebody might
yes,
say that in order for you to move up to the next level, you need to have this executive presence. And you're probably confused by, well, what is that really?
yes,
What does
yes.
that mean? How do I get this executive presence? What is it that?
Yeah, can I go somewhere to purchase it? Is it that I have to wear an Armani suit? What is it? Yes.
Exactly, exactly. And maybe in some ways it is that you have to look at your appearance and how you are presenting yourself physically, but it's so much more than that, right?
Oh yes, oh yes. If it were just a dress, Emily, almost all of us would be there. We could go buy, we could borrow, but it's
True,
not only about that. Yeah, it's about
true.
what's inside and how we value people,
Yes,
value
yes,
them enough to really want to be present with them.
yes.
Good.
And presence means being focused, having attention
Mm-hmm.
and even intention. I
Ah,
like to say,
yeah.
what is your intention around, in terms of how you want your team or the people that you interact with to feel when they interact with you. So, what is the intentionality behind it that allows you to be here now and not thinking about the next meeting you have to do or what's going on somewhere else or the all the other things that could be playing in our minds constantly. And I know it's hard, right? Because we are pulled in 10,000 directions in any given moment.
Yes, at any given time, at any given time, and particularly when you're at a certain level and a lot is required of you, and you have your targets, you have all those metrics, and you have a time frame within which to meet them, and you want to ensure that you succeed. And so you place most of your emphasis on that, forgetting that there are people along with you who need to help you to get that done. How are you
Exactly.
being present with them while
Yeah.
getting all of that done? That's a trick. That's
Yes.
it. Yeah.
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 So you're gonna talk about a few things now, Emily, maybe some practical things, gravitas, what do they need?
Yeah, so when you talk about executive presence, I think one of the qualities, so it's qualities, right? So if we think gravitas as one of those qualities, I think gravitas has to do with how you act, how you are acting. So how do people receive you in terms of what they see because that's what everybody interprets what they see. So how you act has to do also with the level of confidence that you that you carry about yourself with. So do you command attention, come across self-assured? Do you
Yes.
command confidence? Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what, if somebody is going to have if somebody thinks you have executive presence, they
Mm-hmm.
believe that you can inspire, you have the ability to inspire confidence in others to
Mm-hmm. Right.
believe and follow you, right?
Yes. So
So that
Emily, I
means
want us to
you
stop
must
at that
project
one.
it.
Yeah, I
What's
want us to
that?
stop at that one because the confidence is it's like three different levels you're gonna have to display that confidence. Because you have to display that confidence with the persons who you lead. So they feel comfortable that you
Mm,
can lead them and you have what it takes to lead them. Then, as your peers, they also need to be comfortable that you are at a certain level to be able to work with them and collaborate with them. And then, of course, the persons who you report to, they want to be confident in you, knowing that you are going to go places. They have that confidence that you will get somewhere else. So
yeah.
that confidence is on three levels.
Yeah, actually, and across the board, all stakeholders, right? So if you wherever you are present, and we bring that word in again, wherever you are, however you show up, are you communicating that confidence? So even if you have to go and do speak on behalf of your company, or show up in any event and represent, you are representing them,
That,
and
that's it.
that speaks volumes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is
Yes,
confidence, that is the gravitas that comes
yes,
from within by
yes.
building that self-confidence and that ability to
Mm-hmm.
be um, to be that person that people feel
Right,
comfortable. Yeah. And
right.
I'm sure there are examples. So I want listeners now to think about the
Mhm.
examples of persons, the leaders that you do admire who have this gravitas. Because it's a kind of like not always easy to put your finger on. But
That's true.
I think when we find examples, Georgia, right?
Yes,
When we
yes,
find examples, we can use them as mentors, whether we know them
oh,
or not.
for sure.
We can
Yes.
use them as mentors. Of course, if we know them better yet, right? Because we could ask.
Mm-hmm.
We could ask them,
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, how is it that you come across like this? And what it is that you do, what are some of the practices or things that you have done to build your confidence so that you are coming across so self-assured in almost
Right.
any situation? How are you handling or managing, whatever is thrown at you, and being
Mm-hmm.
able to be calm under pressure, you know?
Yes, yes, yes. And sometimes, Emily, as you said, it's difficult to understand it because you want to ensure that that confidence doesn't come off as someone who is bragging and boasting. You want to be confident, yes, but you do not want that confidence now to inhibit other persons, from speaking to you, from coming to you, from being comfortable around you, from being in your presence.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's
yeah.
important.
Yes,
Yeah.
you don't want to be like abrasive or in their face,
Right.
because I don't think that, I mean, personally, I mean, I don't know that that is real confidence when you
Yes.
have to
Right.
be
That's so true.
speaking of yourself so much.
Yes, that's
I
so
mean,
true.
it's
Oftentimes that's
important to
masking
balance.
something else.
Yes, important to balance that. And you know
Hmm.
what? Things like listening,
Oh
because
yeah.
I mean, the active listening and being
Mm-hmm.
able to, so that's where you invite. So you're not only
Mm-hmm.
speaking, but you're listening so that you are engaging persons.
Yes.
Um, Things like in terms of the decision making, your ability to make decisions,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
shows that communicates confidence as well, right?
Yeah, for
Your
sure.
ability to be decisive,
Mm-hmm.
and the strategic thinking comes back again.
Yes.
Your ability to think strategically. These are all things that are tools that you could work on that can
Mm-hmm.
help improve how you show up, and this
Mm-hmm.
gravitas that people experience when they experience you
Yes.
as
Yes. So
yourself.
that's one main thing in executive presence, that gravitas.
Yeah,
Yes. And then earlier, Emily, you said something about, when you're speaking with your stakeholders, that maybe brings us now to the other part of executive presence, the communication. You want to talk
the
about that?
communication. Absolutely. So, I mean, basically communicate how we speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we clear? Are we concise? Are we articulate?
Yes.
Sometimes, we might have to look at our style in terms of the audience that we're communicating to, and
Yes.
change our style, our
Mm-hmm.
communication style.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we like to tell stories and be very fluffy and all of that, but from an executive leadership perspective, that's all great, but maybe
Yeah.
not required or not
Yes.
necessary, or would not even be looked at positively,
Yes.
depending on the situation you are
Yes.
in.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So may I
So
share this example, Emily? Just Friday, I was in a training session. I was conducting a training session with some supervisors on
yeah,
performance management. And we were talking about how they're going to roll this out to their employees and how they're going to be communicating it. And this is a perfect example because we were saying to them, you have team members at different levels. And the way you're going to communicate has to be different for each group because there are some of them who do not have the literacy level of others. So the way you communicate with them has to be different. You have to break it down and make it much simpler. And that shows that you're present with them. So
yeah,
that's one way, that those who are listening, you can look at it like that. How
yes,
are you making sure that you're honoring the audience you're speaking to?
yes, exactly. And that really shows again, yeah, that aspect as you mentioned, presence, right? The
Yes.
care, the care.
Yes.
Because if I'm communicating, how am I making sure that I'm effective by ensuring that the persons that I am speaking with are
Mm-hmm.
hearing or getting the message,
Mm-hmm.
um, clearly
Yeah.
without like feeling like it went straight over their heads and afterwards they
Mhm.
have to ask everybody. So what really happened here?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that
So
was,
true.
yeah, totally
Yeah,
missed
that
the
is so
point,
true.
right?
Yeah.
And again, things like we mentioned active listening already with gravitas. It
Mm-hmm.
comes back to communication.
Right.
Are we really listening, or are we listening? Are we listening to answer?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It
Mm-hmm.
comes up all the time.
Yeah.
And also our emotional intelligence as well as our
Mhm.
intelligence, right? So not just the IQ, but the EQ.
Yes,
It's,
yes. Emily,
um,
is there any show that we've done, any program we've done where we've not mentioned emotional intelligence?
I
I don't
can't,
think so.
yeah, I
It
don't
comes
think
up
so.
in
I don't think
everything.
so. I don't
Yes,
think so. Because
yes.
again, we are humans dealing with humans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, recognizing that emotions are a part of how we receive information.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
normal. It's just like you hear something and you may have neutral, but you may have a response positive or negative, or it could be no, just neutral. But the idea is, are we able to read the room, get a sense
Right.
of what's happening, how people
Yes.
are receiving the messages, how we
Mm-hmm.
might engage persons to
Right.
again make sure our messages are being
Mm-hmm.
received and our communication is effective.
Always being aware, always being aware. And last night a thought came to me that our presence is our present, our gift. We are
Mhm.
giving that gift to the people who we are interacting with. So
Yes,
if you want your sound bite for the morning, your presence is your present. Give that gift to the people who you're with.
yes, yes. So that is the third point of executive presence, right? The
Hmm.
word presence is in the term,
Yeah.
and presence is really, as you say, Georgia, a gift.
Hmm.
Because it is so easy for, I mean, you just think of any interaction you have, it is so easy to just be listening to someone
Hmm.
and answering, but you really just didn't listen, did you?
Yep.
You
Yep.
were there, were you?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mind
And
going somewhere else.
mea culpa, mea culpa. Persons have introduced themselves, and the minute they walk away, what was his name? What was her name? She just told me. I didn't listen carefully.
Yeah, because your
Yeah.
mind wasn't there. Your mind wasn't
Wasn't
there.
there. Yes.
George, I'm curious, are there any practices that you use with your clients or with yourself to
Hmm.
help you be more present?
Yes. Repetition.
Hmm.
Repetition. So if someone says something and I repeat it so that
Yes,
I'm clear and they know that I have listened to them. So that's one of the things that has helped me. The
good.
other
That's an
thing,
excellent tip.
other thing is if I'm going to be in a little group, a small group, I put my phone away.
Yes,
I put
avoiding
once,
multitasking, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
once it's in my
earphone.
hand,
Yeah,
yes, I'm
yeah,
tempted to be
easily.
checking it. Yeah. So those are two
Absolutely.
simple things that I've used to help me.
Yeah, yeah. I like to turn over my phone. So even if I'm going to lunch with someone or having
Yeah.
like, like I try to like turn over the phone because I think as
Yes.
soon as you see, it's just
Yes.
your eyes.
Oh my.
It just calls your
Hmm.
attention,
It's like an
and
automatic impulse.
it's an automatic impulse. And so many studies. I know lots of people believe still in multitasking. Yet
Mm-hmm.
so many studies have been
Mm-hmm.
done that shows that multitasking is
Yeah.
totally not effective. And
Yes.
yet, if you do a survey right now and you ask everyone who's listening or anybody who's listening after this,
Mhm.
is multitasking necessary, good for you? You have to do it. They will all say yes, yes,
Yeah.
and yes.
Yes. And it's so overrated. It is so overrated because you really don't get a chance to do anything really well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
hmm The other
So
thing
I think the
that I think
discipline.
about it
Go
is
ahead.
scheduling the time. Put it in the
Hmm.
calendar because when you put it in the calendar, the person feels special. They know that you have blocked that time for them.
Yes,
So you're
yes,
much more present.
yes, and that helps probably to alleviate the need to multitask if you have
Right.
schedule.
Right. And all the
I think,
distractions.
yeah, I think what I was gonna say when you were mentioning why we still do the multitasking. I think it's an issue of discipline
Mm-hmm.
because we still have this belief that we can't let go of
Yes.
other things and focus on one thing at a time. It
Yeah.
feels like so it's really a discipline to practice that. And
Yes.
one way I do it, and I try to encourage my clients, is really to be more mindful.
Yes.
So how
Yes.
can we be more mindful? So like even when we start a session or we start um yeah, especially in the beginning of a session, we check in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Check in and say,
Mm-hmm.
well, okay, how am I? How am I right now in this very moment? What's happening? So you
Yes.
can do a little scan here within yourself to determine
Mm-hmm.
what's happening. How am I feeling? What's very present in my mind? So you
Mm-hmm.
kind of just list it out so you can say, okay, can I release that
Yeah.
for a little while so that we can be present right
Right.
now? And
Right.
that sort of creates that um, ability for us
Mm-hmm.
to like, yeah, okay, I'm here,
Yes.
I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm not gonna
Yes.
be thinking of, the next meeting or the next thing or what happened yesterday or this client who has a problem or whatever,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or my child,
No,
you
that's
know.
so true. That is so true. Let me tell you, maybe 5, 7 years ago, as an HR professional, when I'm interviewing candidates, I used to place a lot of emphasis on multitasking. And you ask that question of the candidates maybe once, twice, different ways to find out if they can multitask. And I'm confessing, I used to do that, but no, I don't do that anymore. I don't pay attention to that because I don't want schizophrenic people. I want people who are able to focus. Of course, there are certain things you want them to be able to do side by side. But for big things, you want people to be able to focus. So that is very important. And that is a challenge many persons have now when they're not able to focus on a conversation with someone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I want to end, like, I think we should end there because I'm looking at the
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
those are the three main things when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to executive presence, right? So gravitas, communication, presence.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that our viewers today would have received some good tips. I hope that they feel inspired. So I want you to think now, which of those three is your top priority? Like if you had to rank them, which of these
Mm-hmm.
do you feel least capable in? Is
Mm-hmm.
it your presence? Is it your communication? Is it your gravitas, your self-confidence? And
Mm-hmm.
therefore choose to look at that
Right.
one, just one, and maybe choose one thing that you can do in that one so that you can improve this idea of
Mm-hmm.
executive presence I mean, whether you want to be an executive or you go in that way, the point,
Yes.
if you have that presence, you have already,
Mm-hmm.
people are going to be looking at you and noticing something is different here that
Right.
we could use or reward or support this
Mm-hmm.
person as they move
Celebrate.
within the
Yes.
organization. So
Yes. Right. Good.
it for today, Georgia.
Oh, yeah. All I want to say to them, go make your mark. Go make your
Go
mark.
and make your mark. And don't forget, I mean, I know this is last but not least, at all
Mm-hmm.
not least,
Mm-hmm.
if you have challenges in these areas and you want to develop your presence, your executive presence, and you feel that this is something that will help with your career development or your leadership, improve your leadership skill set or effectiveness, please, please, please contact myself or Georgia,
Yes. Yes.
and let's do some coaching around it
Of
because
course.
the benefit you will get is I don't know. I find I will be well, this is me talking now.
Yeah.
Us talking
Yes.
about it, but I think it will be it's life changing,
Yes.
honestly. It can be
Yes.
life changing.
And we
So
have seen it in our own lives.
yeah,
We have seen it. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's a wrap, people. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everyone. Wishing you health, strength, and presence
And
this week.
presence. Yes. Give those gifts. Take
Yes.
care, everyone. Have a wonderful week.
Bye.